Hey everyone, I am Kate with Simple Pin Media, and we are a Pinterest management company that helps bloggers and business owners manage their Pinterest page. And we also aim to teach people how to use Pinterest in simple, actionable steps that don't overwhelm them and make them feel that they can't do it. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to bring on Pinterest experts or people that work with Pinterest to talk about certain aspects of Pinterest. And today we have Melissa from Tailwind, and we're going to talk about the best way to schedule on Pinterest. And so, Melissa, before you take it away, I just want to kind of set the stage that you and I had emailed you probably 6 months ago or something like that. And I think I had said, hey, this is what I do. And if you want any help with Pinterest or any thoughts, let me know. And at that point, we just started communicating about Tailwind and Pinterest, and eventually I wrote a couple of blog articles for Tailwind, and I'm a huge fan of Tailwind, and it was, when it came out, I was hook, line, and sinker. I went over right away and tell everybody about it. So tell me a little bit about you and, why you love Pinterest.
Sure. So I'm Melissa. I work at Tailwind. I'm the marketing manager here. And I sort of fell in love with Pinterest because everyone around my age that I know is getting married or having babies or planning some big life event. And so it's a really great way to help plan for the future in that way, to help my friends, to help my family, but also to help me. I've found a lot of really amazing resources and people through Pinterest to help my career, including Kate, of course. Without Pinterest, I don't think we would have met.
I know, that's true.
So it's just been a hobby that's turned into a career that's turned into this just amazing company that I get to work for every day and come hang out with some of my best friends.
So cool. And when did you get started with Tailwind?
It's been about 3.5 years now, which is crazy to imagine. I've been with the company the longest other than our two co-founders. And when we started, we had 50 clients and now we're over 50,000.
Oh, wow. That is so fantastic. Okay, cool. Wow. Awesome. Okay, so you had said a little bit about what you loved about working, for Tailwind. Do you have friends that are there? What's been the coolest, besides the 500 to 50,000, what's been just the most fun part about working with a startup and kind of watching it grow?
Personally, it's been the freedom to fail and the freedom to try new things.
Right.
I have amazing co-founders that let me test out different ideas and give me the freedom to do things that I wouldn't otherwise. Honestly, I am the entire marketing department.
I love it.
It's a little crazy sometimes, but it's a lot of responsibility that I've taken on and been able to understand how the business works and how everything is going because they give me that freedom and they trust me with that. It's also great because I work with some of my favorite people in the world. They're my family now. And we all have this common goal to make our users' lives easier and better, which is why we listen so intently to what they have to say and actually plan our product roadmap off of what the feedback is that they give us.
And that is really awesome because when you have the ability to work for someone like that does give you that freedom, then you really do experience great growth because you're willing to take, like you said, the freedom to fail. And take really big risks. So it's encouraging to hear that the company really supports that and encourages it.
Yeah,
which is
it's a wonderful place to work. I love it.
So cool. Okay, so let's dive into the nitty gritty kind of about scheduling. Let's kind of take it back a little bit to even address why would businesses even want to use a scheduler to schedule pins on Pinterest?
The simplest answer is to save time. Bloggers and small businesses are working 24/7. They don't have a lot of time to just sit on Pinterest and repin all day. So we allow them to maintain that engagement while still being able to sleep or go out with friends or do their taxes. Some of those important things.
Super fun. Yeah.
And that's the biggest reason why people use scheduling. The biggest reason why I think people use Tailwind specifically is our analytics and the understanding that they have for the scheduling and what happens behind the scenes. So we give recommended times. We show you what pins are performing, what boards are doing the best for you and allow you to really dig in and get into the nitty-gritty of what your scheduling is doing.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. It's the insights and the feedback that really do make such a huge difference in helping you to plan what you're going to pin and how you're going to, where you're going to pin it to, which is really important.
Yes.
Is there any disadvantage in scheduling? So I know this is a big myth that kind of goes around. We hear of it often, and I think a little bit is because we know the myth to be true, or not the myth, I say, we know it to be true on other platforms like Facebook, that there is a disadvantage to scheduling. But does the same apply to Pinterest?
It doesn't. As long as you're using a verified Pinterest partner,
Okay.
you're fine. Why would they penalize people for using a product that they have certified and they've said, hey, this is great for Pinterest. We believe in it. We're supporting them. It doesn't make any sense. And I know there are a lot of myths out there about it. And with the smart schedule coming out, the smart feed coming out around the same time that they released the Pinterest Marketing Developer Program, a lot of people saw a little bit of a loss of engagement because it wasn't 100% time-based anymore.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That we saw with all of our clients, just this huge dip, after that. And really, instead of lamenting that fact, it was really just, again, figuring out what was going to work best. Like how can we switch gears basically to accommodate the new smart feed? Which that brings me actually to a really good point. Do you think timing is still important? And how does Tailwind help with that factor?
It's still important. It's still a factor that plays into the smart feed. They're also looking at the quality of the images, whether they're optimized for Pinterest, meaning they're longer than they are wide. Can't use Facebook images on Pinterest. It's just not the same. And they're also looking at the quality of the site that you're linking to. So it's all these different factors sort of marinating around in their algorithms. And that's what shows up in your feed. So if you're pinning great images, you have a great website that it goes back to, they look good, people want to see them, then if you're pinning at the right times, that's only going to help you. But if you're just sending out a whole bunch of Facebook images, spam, essentially, to Pinterest, then you can pin at the exact right time and nothing is going to happen for you.
So true. It's that switch in the last year to really up your game, to really understand Pinterest and pin within the boundaries of what you should.
Yes,
and then
definitely.
Make sure. Is there a certain number of pins per day people should aim for? Too much or too few?
I really wish I had a magic formula to give you guys. We get this so often. It's such a common question. And everyone's different. The best thing that I can suggest is to go into Tailwind, see your suggested pinning times, and go from there. We'll look at when your audience is engaged, suggest those times for you to pin, and then we'll build on top of that. So if we discover, maybe you should actually be pinning at 2:15 too, rather than just 1:30, we'll suggest that to you, and you can add to your schedule, build it out, and figure out what's going to work for you.
Okay. And that is really easy, I should mention. It's one of the great things with the choosing your schedule is that over time, you'll just see those little boxes pop up that you can select the time, and you can keep testing and keep, trying new times. There's been some accounts I've worked with where a time will be suggested at 12 a.m. And I think, why is 12 a.m. suggested? That's crazy. But actually, it'll end up getting engagement. Not sure why, if it's something about, maybe in other countries it's being seen or whatever, because we know that Pinterest has expanded into several other countries.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I know. They're kind of infusing. So it's good to pay attention to those time slots as well. They might not always be the optimal, but they might be good for your account.
Yep,
which is really
exactly.
So let's talk, a little bit about, as we've talked about scheduling, we talked about obviously the benefits of Tailwind, but what are why would you say Tailwind is better than other schedulers? So if somebody is considering the best scheduler for Pinterest and they're looking at a few options, how would you, encourage them to use Tailwind? What are the three benefits maybe that they could say, you could say these three things stand out as making Tailwind the best?
Mm-hmm. So I think the first thing is our analytics. There are other platforms out there that allow you to schedule and are even partners, but our analytics let you dig in so deep. You can see every part from the pin itself to the board, your account overall, and even your domain. Understand what's working and adjust your strategy from there. The second thing I would say is our customer success team. Emily and Madison are amazing. They're real people that respond.
They are. Yes, they are. I will affirm that too. They have been so helpful at the craziest times to just at least respond back and say, I get it, I hear it, and I will get back to you as soon as I figure out a solution to the problem. So, yeah.
And so many companies don't have that. It's so sad that they have an automated system that goes out and says, we've received your ticket, we'll get back to you when we can. But Emily and Madison are dedicated to making our users happy, keeping them engaged, and making sure that they're making the most of their time on Pinterest.
And I feel like they might not sleep. Do they sleep?
Not often. It's sort of a problem with startup life is sleep is kind of way down on the totem pole priorities.
Exactly.
We get it in sometimes. We have a couch, if you need a nap.
Perfect. Okay. That's awesome.
And our last thing I would say is our beta features. We are constantly coming up with new things for our users to test out, try, tell us what they think, give us feedback, and we adjust from there. Most of the time, it's 100% free to try. We just want your feedback. We want honest opinions on what we're doing before we push it out live.
Okay. Yeah. And I would say, there have been a few that I've seen come through kind of those beta testing things. What's been your most fun, or I guess fun isn't exactly the right word, but what tool do you think has been most beneficial to businesses using Pinterest? And maybe a little bit about them.
Love our content discovery tool, which allows you to pull in images from all over the web, depending on what you've pinned about in the past. So you can do just a straight search of the visual web, or you can pick one of your boards and we will pull in content related to that board. Or I sort of like to think of it as a visual feedly. You can add your own RSS feeds of all of your favorite sites and pin directly from the dashboard. Anything that's new will pop up. You're able to maintain that engagement with your favorite sites and always have fresh content right there in the dashboard. Don't even need a new tab open.
Yeah, that is great. And can anybody get access to that yet, or is that still in beta?
You have to email me, but anyone can have access to it. And so if you're interested, just shoot me an email. It's melissa@tailwindapp.com.
Okay, awesome. Yes, I have used that and I love it. And, also I noticed, and I haven't actually put it into action, that you can pin from Instagram. So how does that work?
When you're in the dashboard, under the scheduling part of our tool, you just go to pin from Instagram, sync your Instagram account, and all those images will be pulled in. It's really good for, introducing your Pinterest audience to your Instagram. And if you have your Twitter and Facebook synced, then they'll be pushed out to those platforms as well. So it's just sort of getting this full circle of engagement through Pinterest and through Tailwind. And, fingers crossed, we're going to have some SMB level Instagram support out in the future. Can't really speak too much to it now, but
you're dropping the teaser, the carrot, if you will.
2016 will be an exciting year.
That is cool.
Having that synced is always a good thing. Having your Instagram synced with the account.
That's true. And it's also really good for people who use their phone to take a lot of images, but aren't necessarily remembering to pin it as well. And so this is a really good way to have them be able to go back through their feed, the Instagram feed, and even find really old Instagram images that they can use on Pinterest as well, which is really cool. Yeah, I love that. Well, that actually brings up, I'll talk about kind of how we can send it for Tailwind at the end, but you said the future of Pinterest and scheduling. So 2016,
Mm-hmm.
that whole Instagram thing is exciting, but what other things are you excited for, as far as Pinterest and scheduling in 2016 and as they grow and you grow?
I think a really, really big part of Pinterest is going to be digging into the advertising side, especially with their really awesome new visual search tool. So you can just take a piece of a pin and it will search for things that look similar. It's like a reverse Google image search, but on Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to open up.
So awesome.
It's amazing. I don't know how they did that.
I know.
The wizards at Pinterest. It blows my mind.
Yes.
But I think that's going to open up an entirely new form of visual targeting that we've never seen in any sort of advertising in the past.
Yeah, I just did a video and put it up on the Simple Pin blog about even just me as a user trying to find a pair of boots that when I had, you click on a pin a lot of times and you click through and the image is either out of stock or not the image, but the boot was out of stock and you can't find it. Well, what was great is I could hover over that boot and it would pull up all these other pins and I figured out where the boot was actually made and how I could find it. The color wasn't available, but I loved that instead of feeling that dead-end pin, I was able to that pin is still useful because I was able to hover over that image. It's genius for the users.
Yeah, that's a really cool use case too.
Yeah, I love it. Let's see. So how do you use, when people sign up for Tailwind, is there a trial period? Is there, how does that work when somebody signs up? Is it pretty easy, pretty intuitive?
I hope so. You go to tailwindapp.com. We have a big red button that says login with Pinterest. You just click that. Pinterest API pop-up will show, and you'll just have to authorize us to access your account. After that, your free trial started. It's not time-based. We give you 100 pins to schedule. And however long that takes you, if it takes you 20 minutes or if it takes you 2 months, it doesn't matter. You can take as long as you want. And even after the scheduled pins are up, you still have access to our basic analytics. So you can always keep an eye on your Instagram, Pinterest account. And no matter what, even if you don't pay us, we're still here for you.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. Let's see, what else have we not covered? I feel like we breezed through this really fast, which is good. But I guess what are some last Pinterest tips or scheduling tips that you would give to businesses that maybe you just see people making the same mistake over and over again, and you want to encourage them, try this, or I guess anything that you want to get out to the masses to say, do this or don't do this?
I've seen people that, follow the Pinterest marketing blog tips to a T, but they don't look at their analytics. So they are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. It's not working. They don't understand why, because they're not looking at the data behind it. They could be pinning to the wrong category. They could be focusing on the wrong boards. It could be something with their domain that's just not clicking. So partnering the Pinterest analytics, the analytics.pinterest.com that you get when you have a verified account with them, with Tailwind will give you such a great overview of what's happening on your account with Pinterest.
Right. And I did notice that you can sync your Google Analytics in Tailwind. Yes. So that will also give you even more insight and information, which is awesome. Page
views, revenues, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. There's a lot of people who it's the throwing darts mentality that I think actually did work probably a year and a half ago, because it was such this time-based feed that you never know who would see your pin. But now, like you said, with the pinability factor, it's so much more strategic than that, which I think people have a hard time wrapping their brains around, because there's
Yeah, Pinterest wants the site to be high quality, and they're making it a little bit harder to just spam away. And they want the experience to maintain and be this high level, awesome thing. And
Yeah.
I completely appreciate what they're doing. And I think that they're going in the right direction for sure.
Definitely. I agree. So people can email you. What's the address again that they can email you at?
It's Melissa, MELISSA, at tailwindapp.com.
Okay. And then is there any other ways that we can connect with Tailwind or figure out, kind of keep up to speed as to what y'all are doing over there?
Sure. We are at Tailwind App on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. And if you go to pinterest.com/tailwind, you can find us pinning over there.
Okay. And then you guys have the blog too. And I know that it's being kind of overhauled a little bit, right?
Yeah, we're redoing our catalog site and our blog at the same time, hoping to have that relaunched before 2016.
Okay.
You will have a post going up after that. I know it's been a long time.
No, I'm totally good. If there's one thing I understand, it's that November and December and wrapping up projects before 2016 or before the new year is crazy. So I understand that for sure.
Crazy but fun, yeah.
Crazy but fun, exactly. It's a really good time. I'll say too, it's a really good time for people to look back on the year. Now that we have had this full smart feed for over a year, really looking again at your analytics, especially in Google, and what have you seen in the last year? Where have you seen things take off? Where have you seen things decrease? And what worked, what didn't work? Kind of that whole take the year at a glance, which I really highly recommend. And that's what we'll be doing kind of in all of 2006 or all of December in preparation for 2016 is talking about, what did we see? Like what was the ups? What were the downs? So yeah, no, I get it. It's a good time to get things done.
Yes. Hopefully.
Well, we did start a little bit early for people who were supposed to be here at 10:30. And I totally appreciate you starting a little bit earlier than normal. So for those who want more information, and Melissa gave her information there just a couple of seconds ago, and then you can find me at simplepinmedia.com. And that is the same across all platforms, facebook.com/simplepinmedia, and the same with Twitter at simplepinmedia, and Pinterest, of course, too. And so if anybody has any questions or anything, this post will be posted over on the blog in probably a couple of weeks. But again, Melissa, I totally appreciate you taking time to come on today, especially the week of Thanksgiving. I know that things are crazy busy. So again, thank you. And we just look forward to connecting with you in the future. And if there's ever anything you want to talk more about, or Tailwind has a new feature, we would love to have you on again and just, get that out to more people. So
sounds great.
Thank
I'll definitely
you.
be hitting you up in the future then.
Thank you.